They're voting in Mexico today, and if there's fraud, as there was in the last presidential election, leftist groups are promising civil resistance and possibly even armed conflict. After the uprising in January that left 145 dead in the southern state of Chiapas, threats like that are taken seriously. Last March, we went south to the jungles of Mexico to meet the man who led that uprising. He's known as Subcomandante Marcos, a ski mask-wearing guerrilla who captured the imagination of Mexico almost as quickly as his surprise attacks last January stunned the government. By the time the Mexican army arrived on the scene, the Zapatistas had taken control of 4 towns. In the largest, San Cristobal de las Casas, Marcos and his troops ransacked the municipal building but carefully avoided civilian bloodshed. Over the next 10 days, however, firefights between the better-equipped Mexican army and the Zapatistas resulted in at least 140 dead. But then the Mexican government abruptly reversed policy and agreed to a ceasefire. And then formal peace talks, moderated by the Catholic Church. Although there were 19 guerrillas at the table, there was one man who stood out, their charismatic leader, Subcomandante Marcos, who grabbed the headlines and stirred the imagination of much of Mexico. Last weekend, 2 days after the peace talks ended, we set out to meet Marcos in Zapatista-controlled territory. We were led to a small village called La Garucha, told that Marcos would meet us the next morning. But that night, even before our campfire had burned out, Marcos surprised us.
Welcome to Mexico.
Gracias.
Inside an empty schoolhouse guarded by Zapatista guerrillas, we got our first look at the masked leader.
Do you think the army knows where you are?
Yes, approximately. So they know that I come here, but they don't know where exactly. Yeah.
So they know the region, but not which village you're in?
Yes.
So tomorrow, when it's daylight, you can take us out and show us these areas and the villages?
Yes, you can say it. You can see the house of these people, one room for 8 or 10 people. There are children, women, men, chickens, dogs in the same room. And they live in this condition. That is the problem.
The next morning, with Zapatista escorts, we moved deeper into rebel-held territory, climbing higher in the mountains over narrow jungle trails for our meeting with Marcos. Finally, we reached a village where Marcos showed us the living conditions that helped prompt the uprising on the 1st of January. Now, people live in here?
This is the kitchen. This is the bedroom, and this is the table of dinner. That's all.
For 4 people?
Yes.
That's it. Oh, it's okay.
How many times a week is he able to give his family meals?